welcome.
Hello.
Welcome back to the book club with me, ArbitorIan.
And me, Mira Manga.
We're so professional. It's almost like we've done this at some point in the last 3 months. Yeah, welcome to the Warhammer Book Club. We read Warhammer books, and you can too. If you'd like to find more about the Warhammer Book Club, you might be listening to this as a podcast. You might be watching it on YouTube. We both have Patreons. The links will be in the thing below. You can go and support us on those Patreons. I do loads of other videos and you interview authors.
Yeah, Ian's the best lore Warhammer YouTuber in the world.
It's true.
So
it's true fact.
Don't watch anybody else.
Yeah, don't watch anybody else.
Or it means you like Erebus.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Yeah, good. We should make that a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how this works. In the meantime, we are here because we are going to do the next book in the Horus Heresy series. We are going to do
Nemesis.
Nemesis, a book about assassins and crime by James Swallow.
Yeah James Swallow. Woohoo!
It's an interesting one. It's an odd one. It's a bit odd in the timeline. Really, it doesn't really progress the plot that much, but it's interesting. You get some wine people.
It's really interesting because
you get some assassins.
I'll tell you why. People are on to Horus. They don't like it.
Yeah. Well, also it's not like a setup novel. We're like in the war now.
Yeah.
Which has changed because everything else has been like, how do we get these people into the war? How do we get those people into the war?
Now
this is like, yeah, we're in it. We're in a war. The war's happening.
Yeah, this is a real change of pace. Also, it's book 13 in the Horus Heresy. Lucky for some.
Yeah.
Can you believe we're on book 13?
Book 13. Well, there are like 7 billion of these. So
do you remember saying to me, we're not going to do the Horus?
Yeah, we're not going to do the Horus Heresy. There's too many books, Mira.
It's also very special today.
Oh, yeah.
A special day.
As it is lucky number 13.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yay, Ian has had a birthday.
Yeah, which I didn't want to do, but now you've brought cupcakes. So we're doing this. Now we're doing this.
I brought Ian a vegan birthday cupcake. Ian also has to...
Great podcasting there for anyone, but I'm going to eat it on mic.
Also has to choose a coloured candle.
I will choose red for word bearers. The best Legion.
We're not friends. I'm going to choose purple because save Fulgrim. So while I'm getting the candles ready and lighting them, you can open your birthday card and look at your gift.
I've got some oat milk chocolate from Hip, which is good.
Because you're a
birthday thing.
Bloody vegan.
It's my fucking birthday. That means I can swear on the podcast. Look, ASMR.
Oh my
ASMR. Opening cards in ASMR.
I can't believe you did a swear.
Well, there we go. I've got a pinata.
Yeah. And there's a little touching message in there. You can read aloud.
Happy birthday to my best grimdark buddy,
Yay!
Mira. Oh, thanks, Mira.
And I've got that.
I have become old.
Yeah, but you're still younger than me.
Still younger than you.
And I've got about 8,000.
Always surprised how much younger than you I am.
Okay.
Sorry.
No need to take it there, Ian. But also, just to say, I've got 8,600 grimdark buddies, and you're my best grimdark buddy.
Oh, thanks.
So...
Oh, these candles won't light.
They are a light.
Are they light? Oh, they're just really dim. Okay, right.
So
here we go.
That is actually a red
this
flame.
This is a flaming
and this
red
is a purple
candle,
flame.
Just like every good word bearer.
Can you see?
Yeah. Here we go.
Happy birthday to you, etc.
Yeah, great,
so,
brilliant.
Happy
Also,
birthday.
while we eat this cake, we are drinking tea. Today's tea is Yogi Tea Relax Tea, because we thought we'd better relax because of the horrific things that happen in this novel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers. Happy birthday.
Merry Christmas.
And if you'd like to send ArbitorIan anything, please don't send him anything.
Don't send me shit. Yeah.
Would you like a Nemesis plot summary?
Yeah, right. So, enough of that shit. Let's do some Nemesis plot summarying. Mira, take it away. What happens in this book? Let me scroll down to where the words are.
Okay. In a world tearing itself apart, a team of elite assassins is given an impossible mission. Kill the War Master, Horus, and stop the heresy before it's too late. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite far in, but okay.
Yeah, but the shadows conceal more than just allies. They harbour a relentless enemy. Meet Spear, an Alpha Legion operative.
He's not an Alpha Legion operative.
No, I know. It's clearly a shapeshifter.
Okay, that'll do.
A master of disguise.
Fine. Yeah, definitely that.
As the assassins inch closer to their target, Spear lurks amongst them. Sabotaging from within. He doesn't.
You're looking at me to check that's what happens.
That doesn't happen.
That does happen.
Who can be trusted?
Oh, no, it doesn't happen.
It kind of does. He takes the body of Who can be trusted when the face of the enemy keeps changing? And just when you think it can't get any worse, here comes Erebus, the ultimate party-crashing bastard, ruining everything as usual. In this war of shadows, loyalties shatter, and deception is the deadliest weapon. The fate of humanity, as usual, teeters on a knife's edge.
Yeah, that is... Erebus is like the extra icing on top of this, isn't he?
I wasn't expecting added Erebus, and I was very angry.
There's a horrific demon assassin. Whose fault could that be?
Also, that horrific demon assassin, so well imagined and scripted. He's absolutely awful.
I'm still not sure exactly how it works, but yeah,
he has a face in his tummy.
He has a face in his tummy. He has a face anywhere he wants.
Somebody else does.
He sort of becomes people because they think it or something.
Fabius Bile has a face in his tummy. Is that right? Somebody else.
I think you're thinking of that guy from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Krang?
Yeah.
I'm always thinking of Krang. Okay.
All right. Well, this book, so this is Nemesis by James Swallow. It comes out, imagine the time, you were 12 books into the Horus Heresy series, a series that was meant to be 10 books long. And
first published in 2010.
Yep. And at this point, everyone's like, great, you've introduced a lot of the things. We've done 1,000 Suns. Can we have Frostborough Burns, please? And then, whoop, Siege of Terror. And then they come out with this, which is neither of those things. And everyone was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why am I reading about Wine Planet?
Why do you think they made this decision?
Don't fucking no idea.
Quite often books are paced around releases.
Yeah.
And I wondered...
I don't think there were.
There aren't a lot of additional Heresy releases, certainly. So I just wondered, and I always try and figure that out. But, I mean, I'm quite happy to have it. It means we get to talk to James Swallow again.
Yeah. I wonder if, who pitches it? Like, is someone gone, hey, there's assassins, so I wonder what the assassins are doing?
Well, also, I like the idea that they wanted to show that Horus, he just can't be stopped now.
Yeah.
It's too far gone.
Yeah.
And these are meant to be the best assassins.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, the subplot of we're doing the end first anyway, but the subplot of let's see what is actually happening to a planet right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's just happening to a planet
if you
were a person in the Horus Heresy?
I quite liked it. It was an interesting change of pace, and I was quite glad it wasn't space battle-y.
Yes. So let's start. So we start off this book. We meet a person who's going to get killed. A lot of people get killed. Yes. Torvald, the poison assassin. He's of the Veneninium. Clade. And he's on Gyges Prime, like he's in Dune or something. And we get a little bit of update on the state of play before he gets insta-killed by the now all-evil Sons of Horus. So we get a little bit of update because he's listening into them and they're like, "Wahaha!
Yeah.
The war is ongoing. Horus is very powerful. No one can stop us and we're evil." And this is Erebus, Luke Sederai and Devram Corda, who were like minor characters in the first 4 books. They're like Sons of Horus who are full on bad now. Luke Sederai was in the first few books. He's got a wicked grin or something. And Erebus is like, right, they're all like, right, come on, when are we going to go and kill the Emperor, which is what literally the entire fan base is thinking.
Yeah.
And Erebus is like, no. Let's take our time and wait for the stars to be right. Which is, candy, because the plot of the war hasn't advanced for a while.
I loved the setup of this book. The way that this poor, Torvald, the poisoner, dies is with his own poison.
Yeah.
And it is quite a horror kind of vibe. And that kind of sets the scene. All the assassins are quite killy in horrible...
in horrific ways.
Yeah, and I think James Swallow's really good at... he loves the visceral, doesn't he? So, yeah.
So also, we should say that this also introduced a few new... Well, we'll get to that in a bit, but this basically... A few of these assassins are ones you get in 40k, as we'll get to, because we're also doing Kingmaker this recording session. And a few of them are ones that because there were only 4 in 40k.
Yeah.
So then the other 2 are new ones for 30k.
And do they become models?
They become models in 30k. So there's models of all of these, but
because
the Venus and the Venenum are only 30k.
Because I was going to ask Ian, because in the glossary, they always have the names, and they're clades.
Whereas they're temples by 40k. Yeah. One did not need to be a tactician to know that the War Master was marshalling his energies for the advance that had to come, an eventual thrust towards Terra herself eventually, and to the gates of the Imperial Palace eventually, in about 50 more books. And then we cut to Space Policeman Joseph Sabrat on the wine-based planet of Ayesta Veracrux.
I like that you've called him a space policeman.
He's a space policeman.
Well. What's going on in this?
What's this rocket ship doing here? He's on the planet of Ayesta Veracruz. which for a look into how normal life is being affected. And the way it's being affected is there's a load of grisly murders, which he seems pretty normal. That seems pretty normal.
That could be a note in many of our summaries. There have been a series of grisly murders.
Joseph's first thought when he sees one of these murders, he's called in to see one, and he's like, Joseph's first thought was of a sculpture of an artwork against the dark metal plates of the shed's roof. The drivesman had been made into a star with 8 points. Who knows what that means now?
I had to go on the internet and ask what that means.
Okay, fine.
What does it mean, Ian?
It's a Star of Chaos, Mira.
Why is there a Star of Chaos?
Well, someone's been made into a Star of Chaos in a gruesome murder.
I was saying James Swallow's really good at this. Where did the Star of Chaos come from?
It's actually a symbol from Michael Moorcock, because the whole concept of chaos is stolen from Michael Moorcock.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that will never be in a rule book or
because it's liable.
a codex.
Yeah.
But, fans of Warhammer know what that means. Interesting.
So that's what we see. So we see Joseph Sabra. I've summarised a little bit here because it cuts a lot.
Yeah.
And basically he gets called into a murder, and the murder is gruesome and has an 8-point star. So we're like, ooh, chaos. Cut again. This time to the Shades, not Terry Pratchett.
No.
Different Shades, where we meet the head assassins.
Yeah.
The heads of 6 clades at this point. No one knew about. Everyone thought there were 4. All wearing masks, and a mysterious master of assassins.
Hey, let's just stand up. Bloody hell, Ian.
What are you doing?
It's Malcador. We haven't seen him since... What was that book we read? It's the last Chris Wright book.
He sort of pops up occasionally. Yeah, Valdor,
and I was not expecting... Did you
Really?
know...
I thought immediately, I was like, Malcador's in charge.
Hang on a minute. Skid to a hole. Is this an official title? Malcador is like in the mix.
Malcador's like the Regent of Terror. So he's like right-hand man to the Emperor.
He's so busy. And
he also does all this shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, they're like, right, well, we all better give. Everyone's like, well, this doesn't work. This sending assassins to kill Horus. We've all tried it and we're all suck. And Malcador's like, well, you know what you haven't tried? All of you trying at once.
Yes. Yeah. Which is a great setup for the book. So, and also Ian's written a super assassin death squad.
That's exactly.
Because of all the different houses, the Cades, they choose their blades. People, they choose their best ones.
Which means that about half this book is assembling the team.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Also,
and maybe 2/3 of this book is assembling the team.
It made me sad as well because I love assembling the team. I love origin stories. But I now know anyone set up against Horus doesn't make it through the end of the book.
No, yeah. Because Horus does famously not get killed in this book.
I know. And it's just really hard because he writes really good characters and then you can't. You're like, well, what's the point of getting to love you?
And Valdor is there. Captain General of the Custodes, he's like, I don't like all this shifting around stuff. Valdor gave a slight shrug of his shoulders. I believe they have a chance if the pointless tension between the clades can be arrested. So he's like, well, this isn't going to work.
No. But I like it. I like to fight people face to face. You all got your hoods and masks on.
Yeah, it's all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, blah. Then we go back to Wine Planet Esteveracrux. Joseph chats to his mate Daig about the murder.
Yeah.
Right? And his boss, the High Reeve, is like, sort this out internally because it's not Arbite's business. We don't want the Arbites coming in. The Arbites are like the Imperial Space Police.
Who wants an Arbiter?
Who wants them? Yeah. This is internal business to this planet. We don't want those Imperial Arbiters doing anything.
You never want the Imperium to turn up on your planet.
And and then you do the cliche of like, it's all internal politics and Joseph and Dave don't like it because they're just policemen on the ground, all that.
I'm just your normal copper plod.
Exactly, yeah. They mention what sounds like a chaos cult, something called the Theoge. And we're like, well, what's the Theoge? And Dave it's very clear immediately that Dave's a member of it.
Yeah, I like that. Nothing to see here, sir.
No. The general, then basically he goes and does a bit of life. He goes back to his wife. The kids apparently were stopped at school for playing a game called War Master and Emperor.
I wish there was that game we could play. Yeah. We should invent that.
And he has to break up a street fight outside. And one of the attackers, they have a Theoge standard knife.
Well, firstly, it's getting very specific when you're having a Theoge knife. Oh, what cult are you in? And can't you tell?
This one, yeah.
Can't you
tell?
It's
illegal. Yeah.
But yeah, but that's not a weapon you can get in Warhammer.
A Theoge knife.
That's just for the book.
Then another person gets killed. This time it's by in a flyer, and we see it happen.
Yeah.
And it's like a spooky demon guy who says he's called Spear, who emerges out of the walls.
Yeah, it's like Terminator 2 style.
Yeah,
do you remember like the
feel.
morphing kind of guy coming in and out? Yeah.
Yeah.
And little do we know now how much we're going to hate this guy.
Yeah, spear the spooky assassin. So we don't know what he is, like a demon assassin thing.
Well, I was hoping you'd be able to say, yeah, this type of character is a this.
After this book, years after this book, they introduced them into the games. There is now a spooky demon assassin that you can play on the bad side, on the traitor side of the Horus Heresy.
Okay, good to know.
It turns out this guy in the flyer worked for the Void Baron Eurotas, a rogue trader. And his rogue trader is like now going to send his own personal agents to find out what happened and help the investigations. And everyone's like, oh, for fuck's sake. The rogue trader who keeps this whole sector alive with trade is coming.
But
Fine.
we haven't heard about rogue traders since back Bedquin, I don't think.
That's true.
So it's quite nice to have them back in the mix.
They're all pobbling around.
Also, trying to get a copy of the rogue trader rulebook.
The Fantasy Flight Games role-playing game. Yeah. I've got a PDF somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to have a look. We're going to have a chat about it on my channel. Maybe we'll play it, Ian.
Yeah. It's a very famously crunchy system, that.
Oh, we'll just
pretend.
We'll just hand wave the dice rolls.
Yeah. So Dagon and Sabrak go to the Eurotas compound and they find a blood trace belonging to a guy called Erno Sig, who's a former criminal who was released into the custody of, guess where?
Oh, can't tell me where.
The Theo.
Oh.
So the entire book is like, it's the Theos, everybody.
Yeah. Also, the whole blood trace thing, there's just blood throughout. It's viscera throughout, really.
There's an awful lot of blood in this book.
I mean, what would you expect with these assassins? But they've all got delightful ways of killing, so look forward to that.
Sabrak, he goes home again. Sabrak's wife tells him that the nearby planet of Dagonet has fallen to Horus.
Yes, and I thought this was really interesting because basically there's like a chain of planets on the way to Terra.
Yeah.
And if you're on one of those planets, sorry about it, but you're going to become part of a tug of war. You're going to need to be either for the Emperor or for Horus. And that, I really, I love those insights into if you're a little normal, you're kind of like effed.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, you're just on this wine planet that only makes wine. And
who knew that was so? But it's so tactically advanced. It's like kind of like almost a fueling station, and just try and move your planet.
Dagonet's fallen, and there's lots of refugees that are coming to Veracrux. So we cut back again. We're now on Terra, and Valdor is in a flyer with Fontariel, the first assassin we meet.
Yes.
So he's a Venus Infosite. He's like a hacker assassin.
Yeah.
And their whole thing is like they were new. They were new about these yet. They weren't in 40k. The hacker assassins, their whole thing is to manipulate systems to make other people do the killing. So it's like the cleanest kill is the one that someone does by your influence without ever knowing you influenced them. So if you can get someone else to kill someone.
I think that's the only way I could be an assassin.
So he's like
these are playable now, assassins.
Yeah, they are now. Yeah. The assassin, the main four always were, but the new ones, the Venus and the Poison ones, are new and now playable.
So what games? Surely they couldn't be like. They'd have to be skirmish.
They're in 40k.
They're in 40k.
There's a board game called Assassinorum Execution Force, and they're in Heresy.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can play assassins. So they get shot down, and they're trying to find a guy called Aristide Kell. And Aristide Kell is a Vindicar assassin. Which is a sniper.
Yeah. A bit like Ghost from Deathworld.
Yeah. And he's going to be in charge of killing Horus. And they get this cool ship called the Ultio.
Yeah. I mean, no one wants their job to be in charge of killing Horus. Yeah. What a promotion.
Yeah, well done. You're going to kill Horus, assemble a team and kill Horus, you sensible Vindicar. Vindicars, as we will find out, tend to get cast in the role of you're the guy who has to assemble the team, despite being massive loners.
Why is that?
I don't know.
And then at the end, they like come to love their team.
Yeah, it's because it's the most relatable one, isn't it? Everyone knows, like, all right, you're a very soldiery sniper. We get that. We all understand that. Whereas, anyway, so you've got weird hacker Fontariel, and you've got Kell, the Vindicar. And they basically do a recruitment, action movie recruitment sequence. I've put them all here because that actually happens while we're cutting back and forth to Wine Place.
Yeah. But I mean, I have to be honest, I literally had to start writing names down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
so
cutting.
Yeah.
And I think if you know all the clades and everything and you're full of knowledge, it'd be a lot easier to read this book, just to say.
They do so recruitment. First, they go to the Indonesic block where Iota, the Calexis assassin, kills a guy by snogging his soul off. Yeah.
She's a weird little clone.
She's a weird little clone. She's great. My favourite character, weirdo, Iota the Colexus.
Yoinked for the Emperor. We need you. Your Emperor needs you to snog other people to death.
That's how she does that. She snogs a guy to death.
I've done that.
So Colexus are soulless. They're like ultra pariahs. You met the Sisters of Silence?
Yeah.
They're like even more horrific than that. She's been cloned. She's been created. And one of the things you can do is if she's a bit like Rogue from X-Men, she can like touch people and suck out their soul.
God.
So yeah, Iota the weird little
There's quite a lot of OP in this.
Yeah. Then they go to find the Guarantine.
I think he became my favourite.
It's an interesting idea because he's an Eviscer assassin who is like a psycho combat stim drug-fueled assassin that traditionally in 40k gets like mind wiped after every mission, programmed with the next mission and just dropped in there. No one and they're like, you just kill things until everything's dead. He's
like the Eliza Dushku of the Dollhouse.
Except the whole thing is that there's no way of having that as a character. So in this, he's escaped confinement and they have to get him off the drugs and a bit more sensible before he's allowed to be part of the team. He doesn't like that because it's the first time he's had any lucidity in a decade.
He's had to be sober.
Basically.
I quite love that. I mean, it's an amazing little subplot within 1,000,000,001 subplots, and it was really fun. And also learning about drugs in the Heresy, you know.
So they've got this assassin, they have to catch him because he's escaped and accidentally killed the entire research station.
Drug-killing frenzy!
He's the BA of the gang, I've put.
Oh, BA!
He's the BA Baracus of the gang.
Not going to go on a plane.
He's not going to go on a plane. So they have to capture him and sedate him to get him onto the plane, just like BA. Then they all go to the opera on a moon of Jupiter.
Oh, I love an opera in an assassination plot.
And they're going to catch Coin the Calidus. Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Fifth Element.
Coin the Calidus has been pretending to be an opera singer for ages to manipulate a Magos from the Mechanicum into being obsessed with him through pheromone traces because that Magos was involved in that Furious Abyss plot because we need to find somewhere to tie that in.
Ian, I've missed you so much.
What happens? and so, all right, fine. So he kills the Magos when the Magos comes back for sexy times in the dressing room.
Yeah, which we always love. And then this is one of my favourite things Ian's ever written. Read it.
Kills him, then turns into a ball of bone to survive space. Picked up is Sassy. Coin's like Sassy Assassin. He's the Assassin.
He's like, that's so good.
Coin the Assassin. He's not an assassin, he's an assassin.
That wasn't even written down, people. Ian just made that up. That is like the law. Yeah. There has to be a posh event with someone up in the rafters and, an opera and, skullduggery.
Coin the Assassin does some sassin.
Yeah.
And then finally, they go to a poison jungle to the House of Poisons to get Solm, the Venenum, who we immediately find out is Jenica Kell, who is Aristide's sister.
Siblings.
Yeah.
Which one of them's going to be killed by the end?
Exactly. And so
I know Grimdark now.
He's unhappy about it.
He doesn't. Oh no, not my bloody sister.
Yeah, and we will find out then the plot of this no one knows the sister, but Iota, the incredibly perceptive little weirdo, figures it out.
Yeah.
And brilliant. Here we go. This is from how Coin kills the robot guy. Tiny amounts of metadopamine and serotonin analogs have been introduced to Ray over time. The dosage is light enough that even the ultra-sensitive scanners of his machine aid would not detect them. The cumulative amounts have pushed him into something approaching obsession, and combined with a physiological template based on his taste in female bed partners, the trap have been set and laden with honey. That's how
honey.
Coin Coin's a Calidus, which means they use a drug called polymorphine to blob their body and they shapeshift.
A bit like Odo.
Yeah, a bit Odo-ish, yeah.
I mean, I quite like the vibe of this one, but that's a lot of work to get someone to fancy you.
Yeah, just to lure them into bed and kill them.
Just like real life.
Especially when you're the Imperium, you can just blow the planet up.
I know, or just, targeted beam.
Yeah. Right, so back to Wine Planet. So all that happens while they're doing a load of shit on Wine Planet. Wine Planet. Dave uses his cult contacts to find out where Erno Sig is.
Yeah.
They find him.
No, Ian's written he wants to get there before the fuzz do.
Yeah, that's true. And they find Sig, but then as they finding Sig, who seems like a bit like maybe he's mentally ill, maybe he's a bit like
he's a bit on the rampage, or
he's not like he doesn't know what he's done, and he's a bit he's a bit worried. But before that, then a load of police helicopters come in, or whatever the hell they're called, ornithopters or whatever, and they waste the place. And I can't remember why they do that.
I quite like the juxtaposition of like sneaky assassin coming in.
So that happens.
Yeah.
And then Hissos and Perig show up, and they're from the Rogue Traders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got Perig, who's a psyker, and Hissos, who's like an agent. They're both surprisingly nice. And Joseph and Daig they all take Joseph and Daig up to meet the Rogue Trader Eurytas. Meanwhile, assassin gang start traveling, and they set up the plan. The plan is they're going to Dagonet, the planet next to yes, to
where Baby Yoda lives.
In
What's the planet? Right? No, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. And they're going to Dagonet because they think the War Master's going there. They're like, Dagonet, there's a war happening, and we think the War Master's going there. And they do this. Then they do this arming up scene on the ship where Fontariel suddenly gets to play Q. Yeah. And he's like, "Wow, here's all your chests full of weapons."
I like that bit.
And they get their chests full of weapons.
Can I also say the minute they said we're going to Dagonet, that was the end of it for that planet. Dagobah. That was the end of it for that planet.
Yeah, they're screwed. Yeah. So this is why Iota is still a little weirdo on this journey. As a test of her stealth skills, she took to exploring the smallest of crawl spaces aboard the Ultio, or spying on the medical compartment where the Calidus was recovering in a therapy bod. When she wasn't doing this or meditating, Iota spent the time hunting down spiders in shadowed corners of the hull, catching and collecting them in a jar she'd appropriated from the ship's mess. So far, her hopes of encouraging the arachnids to form their own rudimentary society had failed. Weirdo.
This is the blessing of Black Library authors, James Swallow. No need for that detail. Yep. We love it.
Wednesday Addams in the abandoned bits of the hull, trying to make the spiders have a bored and trying to make the spiders have a society.
I mean, this is part of the charm of, when they get people together and they're like, oh God, he's going to be on, this all the time. It's really lovely. Some really nice bits of like, will they become a team? And they will, but it's very, very cool.
We also do a little cutback to Terra. Rogel Dawn pops up again.
Yes.
And he's grumpy again.
Yeah, he seems pissed off all the time.
He's always annoyed.
Is he like grumpy dad?
Yeah, he is. And he's like, I don't like all this assassinating.
Yeah. It's a bit like Rogel Dawn has just seen it all. It's like he's the bigger brother and he's just like had enough of the little brothers.
It's like, what is Malcador and Valdor playing at?
Yeah. Why are so many people like down on Dawn about him?
Well, he's quite grumpy. He's a bit boring, isn't he?
Okay. Is he? Well, I suppose. I mean, he hasn't done anything as bad as Fulgrim.
No, he hasn't done anything.
No, so
he's mostly just angry at people and sitting in his house.
But it's the safest thing to do, not do anything, because if you're Fulgrim and you do a thing, you kill your brother. Yeah. If you're Magnus and you do a thing, you mess up the
entire universe.
Yeah, just don't. I think with Rogel, just sit tight.
So Perig tries to do a psychic on the remains of that flyer guy, but ends up getting eaten by Spear, who comes out and noms her.
Were you really shocked at that?
Yeah. Spear is a black pariah, which can reflect psychics or something. It wasn't very clear.
It was like almost like absorbing but burning the psychic energy at the same time.
Or something.
I was completely horrified. I don't like the ick, but I just thought it was so out of the blue. It was really shocking. So I hope you've read this book already, but because that was a great moment. Yeah.
Sabrat then goes to a vineyard called Whiteleaf, and he finds, now this gets really confusing.
Yeah.
He sort of finds Daig dead or something. And then he sort of gets killed or almost killed, and he meets Spear and dies, or does he? But he survives, but he doesn't actually. Well,
I thought this was quite clever because Spear can kind of absorb and become looky-likey of people. Yeah. So at this point, I was kind of realising.
Yeah. Oh, were you actually realising what was happening? Because I did not twig.
Well, I was just thinking Spear is like some kind of weird, and, there was so much weirdness. I was like, why has this been left so oblique?
Yeah.
And I was also scared of Spear because Spear seems so OP. So I was wondering, like, what is the payoff going to be? Like,
it explains to you how it works. Spear's demon skin had patterned itself on those markers, shifting and becoming. The change was so strong and so deep that when Spear surrendered control to it, the camouflage aspect was not merely a mask that the murderer wore, it was a living, breathing identity, a persona so perfect it believed itself to be real, resilient it's stuff that even a cursory psionic scan would not see the lie of it. And spoilers here, but we have to kind of, I think what happens here is Sabrat finds Daig dead. Spear then kills Sabrat and is Sabrat for a bit, which Spear then uses to trick and kill Hissos, and becomes Hissos. But Sabrat, because Spear was interrupted by Hissos while absorbing Sabrat, Sabrat is still alive inside him. And Spear can't quite get rid of a bit of Sabrat still living inside him.
There's still like a Sabrat consciousness. Normally he absorbs and dominates everything, but Sabrat, you will see, gets like these moments where he can emerge.
So now Hissos is actually Spear.
And Hissos is actually Spear with a bit of Sabrat as well. And I loved it. I thought this conceit was so good. And you know, often in Warhammer 40k, oh, this creature or monster or person is just like this because it's just like this. This goes into great detail about why. I thought it was so good.
Because later we get his origin story.
Yes, which was brilliant. Did you like that bit?
I did. It was a good way of folding the absolute necessary character that is Erebus into the story.
And also showing how powerful and messed up and manipulating of the chaos powers Erebus is as well.
And there's also a little bit at the end where you see the discord, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh my gosh, yes, okay.
The assassins then get to Dagonet and they interrogate an astropath to find out what's going on. And the astropath is like, the war's almost over. The traitors are winning. So Horus ain't coming here because there's no need to come here.
Tell him he's fine.
We're fine. The traitors are always on. Horus isn't coming. And they're like, right, that's annoying because we're here to kill Horus. What if we
I know this is awful. This is one of the worst things about the Grimdark. These people have come with a good mission to kill Horus and be loyal to the Emperor. All these people have been dying on the planet, but they're like, the war's nearly over. So these good people decide we've got to extend the war.
Keep fighting. Help the rebels and make this war as annoying as possible. So Horus comes here.
Grimdark in a nutshell.
So they capture some resistance fighters, convince them they're friends, and then free some trains full of people in a sort of spooky hacking train scene to convince them that they're mates.
But also, this is awful because I was kind of reading with a foreboding. They basically make friends with the rebels and say, we need to keep fighting. We'll be part of you. And again, you're seeing all
be sacrificed.
You're seeing the rebels, how they live. They've got families. Sorry, I keep talking.
No, that's right. You're correct. They're like, we're going to help you, honest. Everything will be fine.
And you're reading the book going like, don't help them. Just go to the other side of the planet. But, hey ho.
So now Spear is pretending to be Hissos. And there's a bit of Sabrat inside him fucking things up. Sabrat keeps tricking him into having memories of his childhood.
Which is a brilliant way of getting to this. So we find out that Spear was actually made by Erebus. So, and it was a really weird thing where he drew sigils all over his body and then basically let the warp in. And the warp cannot escape from his body now. So it was like basically has absorbed a demon in, and the demon's always fighting with him because he doesn't want to be in the body. And obviously the demon has taken him over. Also,
Spear was a horrible little murdery shit before that. He was like horrible little murdery shit and a black pariah. And then Erebus was like, brilliant. Let's fill you full of demons.
I mean, I don't know enough about black pariahs. I'm interested to know.
They've only been invented in this novel and never mentioned again. So
well, probably because this person is so overpowered. But absolutely brilliant. And we don't often get to see the manual aspect, apart from Eisenhorn, like glyphing up his friend and keeping Cherubile, what's his name? Cherubile in him. We don't get to see the fiddly, and if you want to create a demon, this is how you do it. This is like fact. So we could all now do this if we wish.
Yeah, brilliant. Let's all do that. On my birthday, demons. Right, Spear. So we find out a bit of plot. Spear is Hissos because he wants to get aboard the Eurotas ship to nom the rogue traders' warrant of trade because that has a blood drop of the Emperor on it.
Stand up again. There's still Emperor's blood just hanging about. And the reason there's blood is because the Emperor came and said, I promise you I'll do this.
And signed it with the blood. And hit the Spear. That's why Spear's there.
Ian's birthday, send us Emperor's blood.
Emperor's blood, please. That's why Spear's there, is because he's trying to kill the Emperor, and he's like, right, I'll go to this place because I know the Void Baron will come by, and if I kill a load of Void Baron people, they'll send one and I can be them and get the blood of the Emperor.
See, in terms of MacGuffin, what was your thought on this?
I thought it was a bit of a long way round.
It's a hell of a long way round.
It's a bit convenient.
Is there any lore about Emperor's blood being... No.
I mean, I'm sure it is. Yeah, whatever.
If we drank Emperor's blood, we'd probably be Supermen.
But, oh no, the Rogue Halia informs him that the real warrant is actually not... He's very annoyed because he finds out that the warrant is a hologram.
Fake.
Yeah, it's not real. And then he's like, no. I've given the warrant. The rogue trader Eurytas is like, no. As you know, Hissos, I am an Emperor botherer. I really think the Emperor is God. And so I've temporarily lent this warrant of trade, which is holy.
To the cult.
To the cult, the Emperor-worshipping cult, the Theoge, on the planet of Dagonet.
Which we
they're intergalactic.
Which we kind of called in the beginning.
Yeah.
When they had the introduction of the Theoge, we knew they'd come up.
So, Hissos, I've charged you. Go to Dagonet, which is very dangerous right now because there's a war happening, and get my warrant of trade back, please. And Hissos, which is obviously Spear, is like, I'm going to go and nom it.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of this plot, this is where I was like writing stuff down, because it's like the entanglement. It's like you're watching a big old war movie, then someone gets sent to go and pick up this. You've got to go and get this so we can unplug all the landmines and the
documents actually, we've got this from the other end, because turns out, you know who's also an Emperor botherer?
Who else?
Jenica Kell.
Of course she is.
So she, lead poisonstress, has found out that the Theoge people, the rebels they're helping, are also the Theoge, and they've got some people who are like, we've got this very, very... I know you're an Emperor botherer. Come and help us protect this document because it's holy.
They sway her
and she
loyalties.
Leaves. She fucks off. Goes. Just before Horus is inbound, they find out. And just like, as they're planning the attack...
Time to go. Yeah. But I really love that character. She was a grandmotherly-like priestess.
Yeah.
And we don't see enough priestess, really. And I really liked that was completely unexpected again. Like, you've literally got the team together, you've got your plan, and one of them's going to go. And I was trying to figure out how they were going to fit in the blood of the Emperor, the cult, Horus coming. You know, were we going to see Horus? Yeah. All of this.
I mean, you say there's not a lot of female priestesses in it, but you're just reading the first Heretic, which has a fantastic one.
There we go. First Heretic is brilliant at the moment.
Ingathel.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
When you got to this point, like, were you like fully up with it, and like, was everything caught in your mind? Because at this point, my brain was like shaking. I was really having to...
I think I missed the bit of how Spear works. So I was like, why is he Sabrat? But the bit where the Theoge have to get the thing, I was like, it felt a little trite.
Yeah, it felt
a little like convenient.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, all things have to coincide because it's one book. But I felt it was so, like, it had to go so big to come back in so small. Yeah. And, you know... Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, I'm not the brightest, but this really definitely took up my brain space.
Yeah, it was a bit. Yeah, I agree. Basically, at this point, we're like, okay, right. So they're all the same people. They're all in the same place. All the characters are converged in the same place. Jen goes off to help the Theoge protect their book.
I kind of wanted her to succeed, but knew she wouldn't.
Iota, Kel's really annoyed. Kel's like, fucking hell, this is shit. And sends Iota after her to get her to come back. And the Guarantine is a sexism. The Guarantine came stomping down the ramp, seething. What are you doing, sniper? He spat the words at him. That gutless, poisonous flees the field, and you make things worse by sending the witch away as well. Are you mad? Is the notorious Guarantine actually admitting he needs the help of women, says Coin, in the troop commander's voice? Wonders never cease. So I don't know who's the sexist there, Coin or Guarantine.
I mean, I felt this was being said because one of them was going to be set up to die later.
Yeah.
Like
they're all set up to die later.
Yeah.
Then there's basically this big multi-ending, right? So... Coin, Guarantine, Tariel, and Kel lie in wait for Horus, and when Horus and his bodyguard teleport in, they attack the leader with their super big laser weapon no one's mentioned yet, but suddenly turns up. And they kill him, but it turns out it's Luke Sedarai.
Yes.
Wearing the War Master's mantle because he's the representative of the War Master.
Is that a thing?
So only just invented this. Oh no, so Sedarai is dead now, but the War Master isn't.
I literally thought we were going to see Horus. I was so excited. No Horus.
He's still in orbit.
Clever, twisty writing. He's still in orbit.
They have to escape the city. There's this bit where the Coin and the Guarantine hide from, they kill some Astartes. The Astartes go crazy. The Sons of Horus on the planet are like, we're going to kill everything. Coin and the Guarantine hide for a bit, and then Tariel's got all these magic animals that help him.
Yes.
And Tariel and his Cyberbird.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Help him get a train out of the city.
And he holds on to as many of them as he can, but sometimes they get lost. I like that. That's really cool. That felt quite anime to me.
Spear goes to the Theoj encampment and kills Iota. Sucks her soul off. She can't suck his soul off. And then he eats the warrant. But when he eats the warrant, it actually makes him go all wibbly wobbly because he can't control himself.
Who could absorb the Emperor and not go wibbly wobbly?
So he's got it. He's got the power, but he doesn't know what he's doing. He's going all wibbly wobbly. And he heads for the space. He gets back on his space bike and he heads for the spaceport to get off planet.
Yeah.
The others, after their fucked up attempt to kill not Horus, go and find and rescue Jen, and then they head for the spaceport, and just as Spears get into the shuttle, they blow it up in their spaceship. Then they all try and get Spear. Spear kills Tariel.
Yeah.
Then he kills Coin after Coin lures it onto the roof, and then Kel shoots Spear.
Yeah, but
because it's on the roof.
The way you're saying this is quite quick at the end, but it is quite heart-wrenching because they are kind of like mini little battles, and there's a lot of emotion and pathos, and I was like, oh yeah, very good emotional, not just like death's good. Iota
gets a little like, oh, I understand why you have religious faith. Blah, killed by Spear.
Yeah.
Dead by Spear.
See, that is quite beautiful, the path of
maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I like weird little Iota. I like our weird little clone who doesn't understand anybody. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I understand your religion now.
I now know why you cry. Do-do-do. Sorry, end of Terminator 2.
Then, Kel shoots Spear, but then it gets up again, but then Sabrat inside fucks it up a bit and Kel burns it.
I was very relieved that Sabrat was there. I was really, really hoping that Sabrat would become empowered. And when he started going wibbly wobbly, I thought that, and also because he was having childhood memories and trying to sublimate him, I was like,
Kel then hides away in an escape pod and transmits all the data to an Imperial fleet when he gets through an asteroid field. Back on Terra, they're having another assassin meeting. Going, well, that didn't go that well. And then Dawn bursts through the wall like the Kool-Aid man.
Yes.
And he's like, right, no more assassin books, please. Actually, he's like, and then the Emperor turns up. The Emperor turns up and he's like, everyone, no more assassin books, please.
Dawn doesn't say no more assassin books, but the Emperor does turn up and say, this is not how we fight.
No more assassin books. The Officio Assassinorum have been my quiet blade for too long, an open secret none dared to speak of, but no longer. Such a weapon cannot exist forever in the shadows, answerable to no one. It must seem to be governed. There must be no doubt of the integrity behind every deed, every blow landed, every choice made, or everything we count on for naught. And then on Dagonet, Erebus reports back to Horus, and Horus is like, no more assassin books.
I was really shocked.
Assassins are a tool of the weak, Erebus. The fearful. They are not a means to end conflicts, only prolong them. He paused, his gaze briefly turning inward.
His gaze turning to the camera,
like,
looking at us.
Hey guys, this war will only end when I look my father in the eyes. When he sees the truth, I will make clear to him. He will know I'm right. He will join me in that understanding. Erebus felt a thrill of dark power. And if the Emperor does not, Horus' gaze became cold. Then I, and I alone, will kill him. No more assassin books. And that's the main point. No more assassin books. Everyone's like, don't do that again.
I was really shocked. I was really, really shocked because they really built up such a good package. And then there's something about Space Marines. I'm like, don't, because so much could be done if they were less sneaky and less like, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to your face and go away and you can come and kill me. I mean, I want there to be more assassins.
No more assassins. Both the Emperor and the Horus have said no more assassin books.
Yeah, I mean, wow.
Yeah, that's the book. That's what happens. Neatly wrapped up. Didn't make any difference.
No. Well, it didn't.
Nothing happened. Yeah, exactly.
But isn't that planet is now aligned to Horus?
Probably, yes, the Veracrux. Horus has all the wine is the important takeaway from this.
Horus is like the snooker table of planets. He's got the ones lining up towards Terra.
He's got important wine planet.
I feel like that planet might come up again in the future.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Okay. No, not to be on, but like, it's, in directions or something.
Maybe.
Okay, we'll find out.
Good. Did you like this book? It's like Warhammer Crime, but also the Horus Heresy.
I really like James Swallow's writing. I love all the set pieces. I find, as you know, I find it because when I read a book, I'm quite an emotional reader. Happy birthday, Cake Boy.
Aww,
and I really, I really get into the the situations, and I kind of want it to continue. But when you're reading a book of like 60, it can't be that. And so I really savor those little moments, like the brother and sister, the conflict, and then coming back together, the regret, the moments of like a small group of people like, please save us, or, they're going to die, or seeing how these cults exist. So I really love it so much, but it's kind of frustrating because almost this could be a trilogy in its own right if it was written as a trilogy. And that's the problem with Warhammer. It's huge. It's so massive.
It's like, sorry, I was savouring that cake. Half this book is, weirdly...
I'm going to have a go.
The bits I really like about... Okay, I'll keep talking. The bits I really like about this are the assembling the gang bits. And it's because I get to see all these weird little places, like the weird Imperial Opera on Jupiter, and all this is like really well drawn. The Indonesic block warlord who's snogged to death. And weirdly, I just wasn't that interested in Wine Planet Ayesta Veraclux.
It's so funny. I love the same bits as you and learning about that. And it just makes you think, if you had these authors, and then they're allowed to then build on a game from this or bring some extra minis in, that would be lovely.
Next in my list here is the bit where I say New Legion alert, but nope.
No, but we get a Primarch, we get Valdor, we get the Emperor.
And you get new faction.
Yeah.
Assassins and spooky assassins.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I love it. This is one of my favourite bits. I'm an Emperor brother. The single utterance was a lightning bolt captured in crystal, shattering everything around it, silencing them all with an unstoppable, immeasurable force of will. Rogel, this is like goosebumps. Rogel Dawn turned to the sound of that voice as every man, woman, and Astartes in the chamber sank to their knees, each of them instinctively knowing who had uttered it. The Sigillite was the last to do so, shooting a final, unreadable look at the Primarch of the Imperial Fists before he too took to show a show of obeisance. The question escaped Dawn's lips. Father? And it is Dad. He is there. But I really love I love it that when they call him Dad. I don't know why, but it's something about, that
how tragic it is.
How tragic it is. He's a terrible dad, bad dad. The Emperor of Mankind wore no armour, no finery or dress uniform, only a simple surplice of grey cloth threaded with subtle lines of purple and gold silk, and yet he was still magnificent to behold. I really go for toxic men.
Like ones who want to enslave the entire galaxy.
Yeah, who wear subtle grey cloth threaded with subtle lines. Right, yeah. But his father came towards him, and Rogel Dawn bowed deeply at length, joining the others at bended knee before the master of the Imperium. And I think the Emperor's going to go like, come, stand up, or, put his hand on the head. Nice to see you, son. The Emperor did not speak. Instead, he strode across the shrouds to the tall windows where the sailcloth drapes hung like frozen cataracts of shadow. With a flick of his great hands, Dawn's father took a fist of the cloth and snatched it away. No curtains for you. Yeah.
Emperor hates curtains.
No assassins and no curtains. And I mean, it's beautiful. And he walked the chamber. He ripped every last curtain down until the chamber was flooded with the bright honey yellow luminosity of the Himalayan dawn. And, it's beautiful because it's all glowing and it's a golden emperor, but you just don't get that. You don't get that human connection. Dawn received a nod, as did Valdor. Yeah, someone said to me, Ian keeps forgetting to ask questions. And I was like, well, maybe he doesn't want to answer your questions. Maybe he's had enough of questions. I ask him too many. So I asked on my little thingy, has Nemesis changed how you see Malcador? Kindly old man or shady master of assassins?
He was never a kindly old man.
I mean, I wanted to like Malcador because he's like trying to help.
Trying to help the Emperor.
I think the thing that I kind of bristle against is the power and the way that, there's an arrogance that comes along with that and how little people are treated. And I still like Malcador, but not a lot. Like, he's still on my good side.
I like the sort of exasperation of Malcador. The Emperor you never really see, because the Emperor's always like, I'm here to make a decision. Yeah. But Malcador seems like he's permanently like, right, I've got these 20 Primarchs. They're all children. I've got to deal with Valdor, who at least is sensible and an adult.
Yeah.
But Valdor doesn't want to do anything. How can I do shit? There's this thing with Malcador where he's like, I'm the only adult in the room.
Yeah, and he's very frustrated. But I mean, yeah, I don't have too many questions about this, but I think it's because I'm feeling it's all kind of very small. Like, it's not like I'm not like, who's this? I was wondering if Spear was a thing that would become a thing.
It became a thing. So yeah, there's a thing called an Infernus Abomination in Horus Heresy now, which is like demon assassin.
Okay. Will there be any more books about them or no?
Don't think so, no.
Okay.
No, I think this is, we very clearly no more assassin books.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a really interesting book on page 431, if you're following at home. Finally, Coin broke the silence. Where in the name of Hades are we going? Hades? Is that a thing? How do they know?
Presumably they know about Hades.
Which is mad, because Hades is from
Greek mythology.
Which is, 40,000 is already way away.
There are quite a lot of things in 40k named after Greek stuff, and it's always question about whether they know what they're naming it after.
Yeah. That was interesting. Let me just check while I've got... Oh, yeah. Found it very interesting. Around this time, the news was breaking that Dave Grohl had been a very naughty boy.
Oh, yeah, he cheated on his wife.
Yeah. And there's a character in here called Grohl.
Oh.
Which I thought was...
What does he do?
He made a derogatory sound deep in his throat.
Oh, wow.
No.
Sounds like
Hang on.
Kim.
What did he do?
What's Grohl? Oh, here we are. Terric Grohl, a citizen of Dagonet.
There you go.
Is he killed? Is he someone who gets killed?
I think probably, yeah. Terric, is that like Space Derek?
Yeah, Derek Grohl, which is almost like Dave.
Yeah, and then this, when Ian was talking about, we get to do like, when they're loading up in like the Q scene, Tariel indicated the individual components of the weapon: spectroscopic polyimager carousel ammunition loader, nitrogen coolant sheath, whisper head suppressor unit, gyroscopic balance stabilizer. Orgasm. I just thought it was so funny.
Just military terms.
Yeah, like,
spectroscopic Fongwoodler.
Yeah, where's my nitrogen coolant sheath? I was like, that's me. I immediately...
That's in for all the men who like talking about guns.
Yeah. And then there's a bit that goes, he thought of this as he rubbed his thumb over the smoothed gold of the Aquila talisman on his wrist. And then, sorry, this is all like jumping around the book. A youth with a bandaged hand picked up the book and handed it to Daig's friend. On the front was the only element of adornment on the otherwise Spartan document, picked out in red ink, the words Lectitio Divinitatis. Thank you.
Yeah.
Easy for you to say. That bloody book.
Okay, also, we forgot to do the bastard scales where we're in different T-shirts. So, very importantly, Mira, the bastard scale for Nemesis. Let's start with the most obvious one.
Yeah.
Spear the Demon Assassin.
I think Spear the Demon Assassin at the beginning of the book was going to be 15.
Right, okay.
But I then discovered why the spear was the spear.
It's because Erebus. So do you divide that number then between the two of them?
Yeah, so it's 8 million thousand. No, I think the thing is, at the beginning, as you pointed out, the spear was still a not very nice person.
Yeah, he was still like a mass murdering child.
Yeah. He's high. He's really high. He doesn't care about anybody, and he's so vicious, and he sucks their souls. I want to give him quite...
But not in the good iota way.
No. I'm going to give the spear 8.7.
Oh, we're going to go to points now. Okay, interesting. So then, the only one we've got on our list from the good side is the Guarantine. Because the Guarantine is like, comedically evil.
I think because he's sexist.
Okay, interesting.
He's going to get 4 on the bastard scale. He gets 4 bastard points for saying something sexist.
Okay.
In 2010.
Yeah.
But I actually liked him in the end, and I felt really sad when he died. He was kind of like...
I think it's a good way of using an Eversa character as well, because otherwise he'd just be a mass murdering psychopath.
Yeah.
So now he's a mass murdering psychopath who's like lucid.
I feel bad for that they've invented that category in Warhammer.
Of Eversa.
Yeah.
No, I think it makes sense. Like the idea that there's these different sorts of assassins with different jobs. You got the sneaky one to infiltrate, the snipey one, and the one you just drop in and go, just kill everything.
But if you're an Eversa, like you basically don't get like a hobby or a life or a family.
But I think they were all started out as mass murderers.
Okay.
They all started out as serial killers. And then people were like, oh, serial killer, you know what you could be?
So you watch out for anyone who chooses to play that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've sort of done a bit of Erebus is sort of in there, but we've done Erebus a lot.
Horus, I'm going to give.
He's not even in it that much.
He
though.
is in it. I'm going to give him an 8.
Okay, Horus is 8. Malcador.
Malcador, he doesn't do a lot.
No, he's
of
mostly like, let's do some assassinating.
less of a bastard, more of an admin.
Okay, a bastard admin.
He can be on the admin scale 6.
6 on the admin scale. All right, fine.
Okay.
What does Rogel Dawn on then? Because is he on the admin scale or the bastard scale?
I think almost they put Rogel there just to be Rogel.
Yeah.
He wasn't too bad, was he?
He doesn't need to be on the scale.
I'm going to give the Emperor.
The Emperor, on which scale? The bastard scale?
Bad dad scale.
Okay, right.
On the bad dad scale.
You can't have 3 scales. Is that the bastard scale?
No.
Okay, right.
The Emperor's going to have a separate bad dad scale
Okay, right.
for how badly he treats his children.
Okay, fine.
And I think on this one, he's going to get a 6 on the bad dad scale.
Okay, so this is the Emperor in Nemesis, 6 on the bad dad scale. But the Emperor might get other scores in different books.
Just you wait. Warhammer TV, will we be making a documentary about?
Technically we are doing First Heretic next, so...
Oh no. Oh, Ian's little face.
Right, that's that done. And in the other video, we're now going to go back in our normal clothing into saying goodbye.
Yeah. Oh, it's hot. Anyway, right.
How's your yogi tea?
Yes, good. I'll finish it.
Anyway, that book's done. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Mira. I'm glad you enjoyed Nemesis and have seen The Assassins, which you will never see again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ian, for bringing me on this journey.
That's all right. Thank you for Nemesis-ing with me. We're going to do more Assassins next. We're having a bumper recording day today, and it's all assassin and crime themed, not a Space Marine in sight. No
more cake, but more tea. And please do support and follow Ian. He's a very busy businessman as well as doing this channel. But if loads more people watch his YouTube channel, he said he's going to do some merch. And I really want to wear some merch. And
buy some of Mira's merch because it's actually very good. It's much better than mine, which doesn't exist. Thanks, Mira. Thanks, humans at home and still at home, maybe driving on a podcast. I don't know where you are. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.